Wie teuer ist ein privater Formel-1-Test? Wie viel Personal und Ersatzteile bringt ein Team mit? Andrew Alsworth, seines Zeichens Support Team Manager bei Alpine, gibt euch im Gespräch mit unserem Christian die Antworten.
I'm Andrew Alsworth. I'm a race team manager of this event.
So we're here at a private test. Oscar is getting some mileage in last year's Formula One car. How much is the FIA involved in such testing?
They're pretty much they pretty much look after everything we do. We have to inform the FIA every test we go to, so we let them know the start of the year our program, just to keep them involved, so they know where the cars are or where the drivers are, basically. So that we have to inform them as part of the FIA rules.
We're here in the beautiful Styrian Mountains at the Red Bull Ring. You've got an extensive testing program where you go to some other circuits as well. How do you actually choose the circuits you're going to?
We tend to use Grand Prix circuits, F1 Grand Prix circuits, obviously. They're quite difficult to book, and I normally book the circuits. So when the F1 calendar comes out in September this year, I will start booking the circuits for 2023. We tend to do we try to do European circuits. With Oscar this year, we've been trying to put a bigger program for him together. We're trying to do 8 or 9 circuits, all Grand Prix circuits. We've just been to Austin and Doha. We were trying to go to Suzuka, but we couldn't go there because of COVID, the COVID regulations. So we went to Doha instead, and then we have got 5-6 more European events planned for the season.
Apart from this testing program you're doing with Oscar and apart from the official F1 testings, are there any other testing days you're doing with the team?
We run the A521, which is this car, just for the young driver program or academy drivers, and for Oscar as a reserve driver. But we also have got a couple of 2012 cars we run for various marketing events. We were in Dieppe the weekend for the Alpine 100-year celebration there. So yeah, we do 2 more events with 2 other cars.
You've mentioned the old 2012 car with V8 engine. These are completely different beasts now. How many people do you need for a testing day like this?
We are here with about 25 people, I'd say. That's including Oscar and the physio, and we bring 5 people from Vieri to look after the power units, and we are about 18-19 of Alpine F1 people, so mechanics, chief mechanics, engineers. We also use this the program not only to train the drivers but for mechanics, engineers. Hopefully we'll have quite a young team, and maybe in 2 or 3 years time they will go onto our race team.
You started with the team in the 80s. How many people did you need back then for a testing day like that?
Well, for Grand Prix racing we were 45 people. Now it's 145 people, but I know they've limited the passes now and a bit more control, but back then it was we're quite a small team of 250 people, and now it's 600-700 people, so it's a big difference.
How expensive is such a test?
They vary from obviously the flyaway events are more expensive because we have to do freight. Which if we could do the freight by sea freight, it's a lot cheaper than air freight. Air freight is very expensive, and then you have the cost of the circuits. They're not cheap usually for a Grand Prix circuit, because you have to have a medical helicopter. We have marshals, you have the circuit, we have to book dry ice, hotels, flights. The trucks have to drive here and back, so it's a big logistics program, and they're all expensive.
But you want a program to work, so how difficult is it for you to get these days from the top management to sign off the budget for that?
It's not too bad. I have a budget I work to, and as long as I can do if it's 10 events or it's 5 events, the budget will change to suit that. But yeah, we have a decent budget to put together, because it's not cheap.
I've seen you have 3 trucks in the back of the garages. How many spares do you bring to such a test?
Well, the A521 is last year's car, so luckily we have quite a few spares because it was raced last year, whereas before we used to run a 2-year-old car, which is the RS18, and we had limited spares then. But so for here we bring a full car, we have a spare chassis in the truck, it's if you had an accident or something happened to the car, and we have a full spare engine, 2 spare gearboxes, and so we have one car and I'd say 2 or 3 sets of spares available.